Enter stage left.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to Wilson Creek. First ever live virtual tasting. We're here with our esteemed viticulturist, winemaker Gus, and our level 2 som, Ryan McCormick, in the tasting room. So we're getting everything from Greg in the vineyard, Gus in the bottle, and Ryan in the glass. So again, welcome, sit back, grab some wine, enjoy. This is interactive. I'm going to be behind the camera answering or receiving your questions. You can do it on the comment box down below. We're not going to get to them right away, but when we kind of switch between wines, I'll get out there and we'll talk about it and we'll ask some of those questions that you guys have. So sit back, relax, enjoy. You guys look at the proper social distancing. We're doing that here and we're all about that. You guys, please stay safe. Stay home until they say come and then come over here, please. We're dying to see you guys, and that's not a good word. We don't want to die when we see you. We are really anxious for you to come back and to enjoy the property. We're doing everything we can to make it look as great as possible, and we're doing all sorts of social distancing measures so that when you do come back, you'll be safe. And that will be safe because that's very important to us as well. So again, sit back, enjoy. I'm going to turn this over now to a panel that's way smarter about wine than I am. So who's going to be the lead dog on this? He's going to be opening the wine, so I'm going to step away. You guys have at it. This is just going to be kind of just hanging with the homies, so to speak.
Is it safe? It's safe. Okay. Little alcohol. Okay, we're good to go.
All right, I'm going to lose the mask. Sorry about that. But we're going to be going through 5 wines today, folks. Hopefully you have at least some of these at home. And we are going to make this as casual but entertaining and educational as possible. And so your interaction is, we highly recommend that you interact with us through the comment line below. And we're just going to kind of go by the seat of our pants here and taste these wines. Talk about them. You guys ready?
I can't go too casual. I just turned my thing into an ascot, so for the wine tasting.
You look very English.
Do you like it? Jolly O.
Are you ready,
Lead
guys?
on. I think it's safe to take off your modified.
All right, so if you have it at home, the first wine we're going to try today is our 2018 Moscato.
So 2017 in the vineyard was 2018 in the vineyard was actually a relatively dry year. It was quite dry. It was very hot. It was the first year we had sort of extreme heat and dry conditions. The crop wasn't huge, but the quality was really nice. Grapes are kind of unique in that they'll cut down on how much they produce under stress conditions. And so from a viticultural perspective, I would expect this wine to be a little bit richer, a little more thiols, a little more aroma.
It was a dry year?
It was that, well, not
this is very not dry.
Yeah, the wine didn't turn out dry. It's pretty sweet. What, about a 3.2?
A little over 3.
On the RS?
Yep.
So,
yeah, so this is one of our sweet wines that we sell in the taste room every year. It's a crowd pleaser. You know, the white Cabernet you all love, but this is second in popularity with our sweet white wines. And I didn't know if you guys knew this, but Moscato is one of the oldest wine grapes in history. So it's a great grape, and you can get it all over the world. But I think Temecula really has a great expression with this wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting some really nice. The floral on this is a little more subdued. I'm getting a lot more grapefruit on this one. What I really like about this one is that thiol is relatively thick. It's viscous. Yeah. This would be a great wine with spicy food.
Yes.
This one really works spicy because we'll put out the
Pick
fire.
up a lot of guava, a little tropical quality to it, but definitely citrus. And I agree with you. I think spicy foods would be really awful.
Would you attribute that guava and those tropical notes to be because we're in a warm climate here, that the grapes grow in a warmer climate?
Partly, yeah, exactly. And just the temperature that we ferment in. The key here is when you're fermenting a wine like the Muscat, depending on where you are with your fermentation temperatures, you want to make them at a certain point so that you get those the flavor profiles that you're looking for. So in this case, I fermented on the cold side to bring up more of that fruity character.
The one thing I really get in this is honeysuckle. Like that honey and honeysuckle.
What did you call me?
Honeysuckle, baby. So this is really good. Spicy food, Thai food, Mexican food, anything spicy this would go great with.
Yeah, and this really reflects the hot weather we had that year. It was dry, it was hot, the berries were small.
Was that the year that the vines got toasted on the?
It's the year that the rest of the valley had a lot of.
Yeah.
This was actually the first full year of the biological program. So
I'm already done with mine.
I know,
Yeah.
This is delicious right now. Probably because it's the first glass. It's the
Oh yeah,
Yeah, just knock that one back.
I did. I knocked this one back.
All right, you guys ready to go into reds?
Let's
go.
go.
All right, let me finish this
do
white.
it. I love it.
We do
So all you at home,
Cheers. Hope you like this one. All right, we're heading into our first red wine, which is our Teroldego.
by the way, this is very bad wine tasting etiquette to just knock it back, but
Yeah.
that's us.
Yes. That's how we roll.
That's how we roll.
It's after work.
It's, yeah, sort of.
It's after work.
If anyone from HR is listening, it is definitely after work. We're off the clock.
Yeah,
All right.
we're
So
up.
the 2016 Teroldego is our next wine. All right. Let's give it a whirl. Hi, Barb. Happy
Barb.
birthday.
So I don't have a lot of vineyard perspective on this because this did not come from our vineyard.
This is a grape that we sourced, but one funny story, this is the second version of this wine that we made. Teroldego is actually the name of the grape. It's an ancient, it originates in the most northern part of Italy, but is grown here
In
in
the
California.
Triol area.
Yep, and when we first had the first vintage of this, the staff had such a hard time remembering it because I had never heard of the grape Teroldego before. And the way that I was able to get them to remember is the word old is in the middle of the word. And once you know that, it kind of anchors in saying Teroldego. So we still say that today in the tasting room. If guests are having a hard time remembering Teroldego, old is in there. And it's one of the oldest grapes that originates in the northern part of Italy. So
Right.
just a little...
This is a cousin to the Petite Syrah. So when you try this, you definitely get some Petite Syrah-like characteristics. So it's sort of in that same family, and it's really holding up well. I think I like this one quite a bit. It's got a spiciness to it, and the tannins are still there. So this thing could definitely hold out on the bottle for another few years. I think the structure is pretty sound.
It's really good, and you really get black fruit in this, and tobacco, and some really savory notes, which go well with meat and savory dishes. So the one thing that I really like about Teroldego, it really passes the eye test. So when you look at it, it's like a real deep, rich color. You can't even see through it. And so when you're looking for a real bold wine,
Oh yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
you pass. See, well, how many fingers am I holding up? When you're looking at this wine, your first impression of it is this deep, rich, bold wine, and it really passes once you start drinking it. It goes along with the look of it.
Do you have a hard day, Gus?
You know what? No, I
don't think I'm pouring them enough.
Yeah. Boy, I was drinking this, and I'm
Yes.
thinking this is a phenomenal wine with barbecue.
Yeah,
I think the tannin structure, and you have something like a barbecue-like dish,
yeah,
I think this is going to be awesome.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Even like a slow cook. Like I like to slow cook meat, and with that, hickory or something to it, it would really go good. I see that.
So Teroldego, that's the name of the grape. So it's not a blend name, it's a grape name. One of the things you'll notice to sort of confer with what Gus was saying, that this will still hold on if you look at the meniscus, the little line in there. The color isn't penetrating in this. This wine will last in the cellar for years.
I think so.
The finish on this is also really nice. And actually, I'd stash, this is one of those bottles I would put a name tag on and go 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, let it sit in your collection for a couple of years. I think in 3 years this will be even better.
The one thing we have a hard time with here is holding on to wine.
Yeah, no.
So it might be a little challenging, but we'll give it a shot.
Oh yeah.
All right, you guys ready for the next one?
We all have a hard day?
Heck yeah.
I don't know. Hope you enjoyed the Teroldego.
You might have your level 2 stripped for that, but
So the next wine that we're going to go over is one of our Explorer Series wines, the Nebbiolo, that came out in the July shipment for all you wine club members last year. And we're going to give it a whirl here. Here, Gus, I'll give you a little more.
Thank you. Thanks. All right. Nebbiolo.
Oh, see, the more he drinks, the more Italian he gets.
Wow. What aromatics.
Yeah.
I mean, right off the bat. You get licorice?
This is really, yeah, I get like
I get-
anise, licorice, that licorice smell.
You get what?
And don't go there. This is live.
Licorice.
Licorice.
Yeah, let's just say licorice.
In
Yeah.
the nose,
Boy.
I really get the like what you get out of a lot of Italian wines. And again, this is an Explorer Series wine. So this is a wine that was actually made in the Piedmont region of Italy that we partnered with to bring our wine club something different in our Explorer Series. So this is, to me, like a quintessential Italian wine. It has that cherry, that toastedness to it, earthiness.
I
in the
smell
nose.
the ocean. Did it come by boat?
I think it did.
All right.
All right.
All right, now let me explain something here. This is interesting. This is thinking outside the box. See, here in Temecula, our wines are very fruit forward,
Yeah.
and I think they're structured more as cocktail type wines. So
Right.
when you grab a glass, you can enjoy it. Of course, you can have it with meals. But when you're dealing with a lot of these Italians, especially from the Piedmont area, in this particular, this is really structured to be a food wine. And I'm trying this, and I can't help but think about various Italian foods that this would really go well. Where ours are fruit forward, Italians are more in that acid forward.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're structured that way, and I think there's a lot of longevity. I like this wine quite a bit.
And from a regional perspective, Piemonte, even though it's hot in the day, it's relatively far north.
Yeah.
And it has that cold air coming off of the Alps. And so you get that really nice diurnal shift that we get here. It's
A what?
The diurnal shift.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah. Hot in the day,
Yeah.
cool at night.
Right.
Yeah.
The diurnal shift.
And the Nebbiolo is one of the most important grapes in Italy, next to Sangiovese. It's Barolo is Nebbiolo, and Barolo is one of the most pristine, notable wines in all of Italy. And this comes from right by that region, so it's a really good wine. The thing I like about Nebbiolo as a grape is it's kind of tricky. It looks like a Pinot Noir
Yep.
and tastes like a bold red wine because of the tannin. So it's kind of got that bait and switch kind of feel to it, which I think is really interesting. You feel like you're going to be drinking a light wine, but you get a real high tannin, gritty wine. So I think that's
but
really
the
good.
tannins are really starting to incorporate really well in here.
They
I
are.
think
I was
they're
going to
coming
mention,
in
when we
there
first
nice.
got this, the tannins were good,
Yeah.
but I thought it needed to be decanted. It's really aged beautifully. I really like
What's
the
the
finish on
vintage
this
on
right
this?
now.
This is a 2017.
Really?
I think so. Is that 2000?
It's holding up really
Yeah,
well.
2017.
Really, it's holding up very
For
well.
such a
17.
light-bodied, or at least light in color, so the
Right.
phenolics and the tannins are pretty light.
The tannin will help it hold on for years to come.
Yes.
Nebbiolos usually don't hit their peak till later than other wines.
That's right, that's
so
right.
this wine is good now, but it will
yep.
be great 5 years from now, 4 years, 3 years, and different along the way. So
But
think it's
I
gonna
love
be-
how the spice integrated over a little bit of time.
Yeah,
In the
the
beginning,
spice.
it was a little like, it was kind of spicy and kind of tannin. They were a little bit separate.
You
Now
notice
just
they're
it's
doing a lot
beautiful
of
shape.
talking.
Yeah.
I'm doing the drinking.
Yeah.
What would you guys pair with this? This is kind of an interesting pairing. What would you guys pair?
Gina Lola Brigida.
I don't even know what you said.
It's an
I say that too often. I don't even know what you said, Greg. What did you just say? What was it?
She's a famous Italian movie star. Way back in the day.
Don't forget we're live here.
Yeah.
We have a couple questions.
Okay.
Okay.
There is a couple questions. First from Jenny. She wants to do this on a monthly show. She thinks you guys should be on the show.
Okay.
And thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. We haven't
So,
finished yet, so don't
yeah, so thanks, Jenny. For the first 5 minutes is pretty good. Second question, and I waited for this wine. Mandy out there says, wine is typically a girl drink. What do you say to men and encourage men to be a little bit more manly about drinking wine? Is kind of the question. I think she's trying to get her macho manly stud boyfriend to like wine. And that leads into the very next wine, which is Double Dog.
Yes.
That is a manly
That
man
is a manly
wine.
man.
So
Absolutely.
that's why I kind of asked those questions. So, as you're finishing this, no rush here, Gus. Take your time. But I love his style of drinking. Me too. So if you could just answer those two.
Mandy, my wife is on this live chat, so she could tell you how manly I am. I drink a lot of wine, but I think it's something of the past. That it used to be, cocktails were for men, and I mean it's really gone wayside. I mean, we have so many men that come to the tasting room and drink wine these days. I don't think it's really has that kind of persona anymore. I don't think.
It's a trend that's changing, and part of the reason the trend is changing is we're suddenly getting good wines.
Yeah.
I think years ago when people were drinking Carlo Rossi and Blue Nun and all that stuff, it was just a good way of getting drunk. And
Or White Zinfandel.
yeah, so if we actually had an extra hour, there's a physiological reason. The biochemistry of women is more attuned to wine. The biochemistry of men is more attuned to the carbohydrates of beer. But we don't have time to get into that.
Yeah.
Right. Let me cut to the chase here. All right. I'll tell you the reason why wine is really good for guys.
I sense a joke coming up.
A number of reasons, but two really stick out. Number one, higher in alcohol than beer. Okay.
Yep.
You got beers at 5. Wines are a little bit higher. All right. That's manly. The other thing is there's a lot of great wine, especially the ones with smoky characteristics, go so well with cigars.
Yep.
And so if he's a cigar smoker, some wines there I think pair up so well with it. You having a cigar with a nice glass of wine, you can't freaking beat it, right? Plus, if he's a steak eater, he likes steaks, there's some wines there that just make that steak stand out. 3 reasons right there that wine is definitely for the guys.
Yeah,
And
why would you drink something that doesn't go with barbecue?
I know. And especially wines from Temecula, they have such boldness because of the heat here in Temecula that a lot of them pair with barbecue. And barbecue is something a lot of dudes I know like to do. So it's drink wine and barbecue. All right? Ready?
Yeah,
All right. You finished that one too?
I did.
Okay, I gotta keep
It's
up.
been a long day. I've been here since 4 o'clock this morning.
All right.
I got here this morning to forklift out our barrels because we're blending a lot of stuff for this next bottling. So I'm here early in the morning. I'm off the clock. I'm just having a blast trying these
You got that
wines.
Billy's off the clock, so you can drink as much as you
But
want.
the neat thing is it's really fun to see how these wines are progressing because I had them when they were being created and when they were bottled and having them here with some other guys that I like really well, trying these out perfect. And I'm learning quite a bit. This is a lot of fun.
Great. All right, so a crowd favorite. Our next wine here is our 2017 Double Dog. We actually pulled this out of inventory for the Wine Club shipment, so this is a little hard to get these days. So if you have a bottle with you right now, congratulations, and we look forward to enjoying this with you. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon and Petite Syrah blend.
So 2000. How do they order this? That's a question.
Was
for
that a
you.
question in the chat box? You can order all of these online. The Double Dog is the one that is a little hard to get. It's for Wine Club members only, but you can get these all online right now at our website. All right, on our website.
So 2017 was the first year after a 5-year drought that we got some decent rains.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So this was that kind of recovery year.
Yeah.
The Petite this year was just absolutely beautiful. So I think
No
the Petite
kidding.
Really
No
adds
kidding. Boy, that
to this
stuff
one.
is, the 19 we're getting in barrel. Oh,
Yeah, the
beautiful.
19 is the other one. So it's this and the
Oh,
19 are
it's
the
really
two
nice.
really wet years that we've had. And actually this year is looking good.
So the Petite Syrah,
Okay.
if you aren't Petite Syrah fans of our Petite Syrah, it's one of the crowd favorites. It's the standalone Petite Syrah is one of our crowd favorites every year. And the Double Dog, I think it's a lot of following because the dogs are on the label and also because the Petite Syrah is in there. But this is one of the better Double Dogs that we've had,
Yeah,
I think.
I agree.
The Cabernet really gives it that black fruit that it has to it and tannin, and the Petite Syrah gives it that spiciness and it's kind of tobacco taste. It's really, really good balance on this one. It's about 50-50. It's not exactly 50% each one, but it's nearly 50% balance of each of those varietals, Cabernet and Petite Syrah.
And in a dry year, the cab will sometimes lose that black pepper, or it's a little lower. In a wet year like this, it just comes out. You get that really nice black pepper, and I think it blends with the Petite really nicely.
Cool. What would you guys pair this with? And don't say any Italian women's names that I don't know.
You're just too young. You're a pup.
Yeah.
Petite. This would go with, I think, a more subtle red meat dish.
Okay.
So like a beef bourguignon, or just like even a really good steak with mushrooms. You'd want something with some earthy quality to it.
So yeah,
What
they
are
would
the
call that
grapes?
umami, which has that like earthiness to it, that savoriness. I think so too. This has like the sweetness from the Cabernet, so you can even put like a glaze on meat or like a roasted chicken, because I'm not a red meat guy, but roasted chicken this would go great with, I think.
A primal pasture roasted chicken would go great with this. a little shout out to a great local company.
Good
So
job,
the
Greg.
grape varieties on this there are two, and it's the Cabernet Sauvignon and the Petit Syrah. And it's about 50-50, the blend of both. And when this is being made, this is kind of interesting. There's two approaches to blending wine. One is you blend various different wines together to achieve a certain character and flavor. So the percentages of the grapes will always vary to bring that up. But in the case of the Double Dog, it's always roughly around 50-50. And whatever comes out is always sort of a surprise. So this is the other approach. Roughly 50-50 blend, and let's see what happens. Some years the Cabernet really sings out. Other years the Petit really comes out. And I think in this case, I think the Cabernet is more dominant than the
That's what I was talking about, that black pepper.
Yeah.
It kind of stands out a little bit.
So that's the fun thing about Double Dog, because that's always the standard blend. Each year you'll notice that one will dominate the other regardless.
It's kind of like double dutch.
Exactly, and I think that's the fun part of this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And once again, to the guy question, if you show up to a party and you bring a 6-pack of Miller Lite, or you bring a couple bottles of Double Dog, who's the man?
Double dog.
Yeah.
You're the double dog man.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be.
You're the
that'd be
top
my-
dog.
You're the top
You're
dog.
the top dog.
Times 2.
This is really nice. I'm
Yeah.
really.
I want to just say the hell thing, just finish off this bottle and just...
Yeah, we have
All right.
full bottle. Now, I
Okay,
think
we're not going to do any more. It's going to hang out here and finish the rest of this bottle. Anyone want to ask any interesting questions?
I think one thing that we haven't talked about either is oak age, and you really taste the oak on this one. There's that vanilla node to it. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a blend of French oak and American oak, and you get kind of
Franco-American.
Franco-American, yeah. So you get kind of that vanilla and oakiness, like subtleness to it. It's not overwhelming, but it's in there and it's integrated really well. I always say a good wine has a good beginning, middle, and end, like a good story, and this one definitely has it. Like you taste the whole thing all the way through, and has a great finish at the end, and it has it's really enjoyable because of that.
And I'll add to that and give Gus some fodder for an additional joke, is it also needs to have a nice shape. It needs to have an approach, a peak, and a finish, and a long finish.
There you
and
go.
this has all of those.
Do you know how we get a smooth finish on this wine? We sand with the grain of the barrel to achieve a smooth finish.
I warned you
Always
all.
sand with the
Sorry.
grain.
That was a winemaking joke, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming. You guys might miss
Okay.
some of
Okay.
these zingers.
I violated the social distancing.
Okay.
I was reminded, and that was my daughter. Hi, Cassidy.
Hi, Cass.
Better yet? Question. I completely forgot it. So it's okay.
Bill's drinking
So,
behind
by the way,
camera.
Bill's been keeping up with us behind the camera. No surprise.
No. Just a little comment. When you're talking about a manly man's wine, don't let other people know you don't eat beef and only chicken. When you're wearing those shoes.
And it comes.
Yeah, let's see your shoes, Bill. Come on, Mr.
look how
Polished.
dirty they are.
Oh, they're dirty. Okay. By the way, Bill's been painting and sanding, and he's getting back to his roots. He grabbed the tractor yesterday, and he was grading roads.
I thought I was in the clear with this, with social distancing, but it still gets heavy. Yeah. All right, if you guys have any comments, please put them below. We're happy to answer any of your questions. We have one wine left after the Double Dog, so we don't want to miss any of you. We're going through really well. The Double Dog is one of my favorites, and I think I poured you half a glass. How are you doing with that already?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, this one I'm just talking. The Double Dog goes from good to great.
Yeah.
This one's on the great scale.
Yeah.
I really like this vintage a lot, and this one's going to age well. And you don't have to decant this one at this point. It's just really nice right out of the bottle.
You decant into your glass.
Yes, decant, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a wine like this, by the way, so decanting,
That was another joke, by the way.
you'll sometimes get this change. If you're really into wine, you really don't decant anything because you want to see how it changes over time in the glass.
I don't
This
know.
evolves really nicely. If you have guests that aren't quite so much into, the kind of nuances of wine tasting, decant it. Give it to them at the peak. But this is a wine that just starts really nice and gets more interesting as it opens up.
It does. And just a little plug, we are holding quite a few cases of this Double Dog in our library. which most of that is allocated specifically for our new reserve room that's should be open by the time you all come back. It's looking really, really good. So when you do those high-end tastings in there, this Double Dog will be part of that. So it's even getting better. So I'm excited about that.
Right. Which is why Bill has manly shoes. He was just in there working. There's dust everywhere. All right.
I think they're high heels.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
All right. Let me finish this Double Dog. And do we have any questions, Bill? I think this is getting easier as we go along.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a lot.
A question was, where are all the women? And they're operating the cameras that are behind the scenes. They're doing all the hard work. And I just want to shout out to Wendy, who's on the camera, and Natalie over there. And a little shout out to Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland, who joined this. Hi, how are you? You are still one of my all-time favorite singers, so
wow.
Can't wait to have concerts back. I don't know when that's going to happen, but we are still going to look forward to those concert dates and do everything we can in our 20th anniversary to celebrate the 20th anniversary. I mean, my God, we're here 20 years. It's just amazing. So anyway.
Wait, Bill, they're asking about the new reserve room, too.
Hey, that's why I'm all sandy. We're working hard at getting the reserve room ready for you guys. It's going to be really nice, upper end, kind of sitting like this type of wine tasting versus this type of wine tasting at the bar.
Yeah,
so,
they've got us booked 12 hours a day for the upper room, all three of us.
And for a small fee, they can sit in with you and work all day. But yeah, that's coming down the pike. We'll be showing you some pictures at some other things while we're still all in this quarantine together. And hopefully we'll get a date of when we can open soon. We're kind of shooting for that. Not really panicking to get the construction finished, but as soon as that date comes, man, it's going to be game on panic to get everything done for you guys.
But it's looking really, really good.
It's cool. It's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, social distance. Social distance. All right, back at it.
Spray him with alcohol.
I just want to give a quick shout out to some of the ladies. The wine club staff is still working really hard. Some of you, Lisa, and some of you from home, and a few of the girls are upstairs every day, making sure that our wine club members are happy and they're getting everything they need. So you guys are working so hard, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We even have somebody in Florida.
And we have somebody in Florida, Barb.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you.
All right, are you guys ready for the creme de la creme?
Oh, okay.
So this is, I get asked a lot what my favorite wine is, and it really depends on when it's kind of a bell-shaped curve of the lifeline of that wine. And in my opinion, this Meritage, which is a Bordeaux-style blend, our 2017 Meritage, is my favorite wine right now, and it is tasting so good. Sorry, Gus.
Start pouring.
I forgot.
You got to do two things at once.
I forgot you were off the clock.
Yeah. Look. Oh, good. Let me see. All right, I got more than you. All right, that's all I want. I want more. This is really nice.
All right, so Meritage is a blend. So if you guys didn't know, blend is more. In California, it has to be 75% or more of one grape to be called a grape like Cabernet Sauvignon. If it's less, we call it a blend, and we could give it a cutesy name like Double Dog. Meritage is actually a nationally recognized name, and the thing I hear most in the taste room is Meritage said wrong. So I'm just going to clarify real quick. Meritage is a made-up word. It's merit and heritage put together, and a group from Sonoma, Napa got together, the Meritage Association, years ago, to name this blend, and it's Meritage. So it's not Meritage, which it kind of looks like a French name, but it's Meritage. So a Bordeaux-style blend that we put together with certain grapes that we'll talk about later is called Meritage. All right? So I'll stop talking. I talk more as I drink.
And so this is 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once again, it was that first really wet year we had. The grapes in this were just beautiful. I mean, that was the year. It's a little bit like when the desert is dry and you get a rain and you get this incredible bloom.
And you're on a horse with no name.
That's a guess.
And it was good to be out of the rain.
Yeah.
In the desert.
You don't remember your name because there ain't no one fourth to give you no fame. What the hell does fourth to give you no fame?
I don't know.
You know, he just got stuck.
I think that's all. I think that's.
He was probably about as far into this as we are, and he just fourth to give you no fame. But anyway, so it's like in the desert. Don't start again.
No, you do the talking. You do the talking.
You'll do the color?
I'll do the drinking.
You're doing the color too.
You talk, I drink. This is good, by the way.
This is good.
Listen to what he has to say.
But when you have those long droughts, you have those incredible blooms.
Yeah.
It's like that in the vineyard too. We irrigate. Irrigation is why we don't have bad years in Southern California, but we have great years, and great years is when you get rainfall. Rain is very different from irrigation for a lot of reasons. But just the analogy, and it's a really close analogy, is when the desert blooms and you get this complexity of just color and texture and just all that. That's what happens in the vineyard. This was the first year after a long drought, and the grapes were just dying to express, and they did.
When did you harvest?
Bessie's asking when the best time to harvest is.
The best time to harvest?
At
you
the
mean
peak
like
of
daytime?
ripeness.
The peak of ripeness. There's a couple day window. So here's what actually I do. Especially, I'll go out and be tasting the grapes. So we only harvest at night. And we harvest at a very specific time. The grapes go through a biochemical change where they reach something called, I'm going to throw out the word here, just leave it alone. It's called biochemical homeostasis. The plant is taking
If you can
all
spell
of
it in the comment line,
you get a free bottle, yeah. The plant has been photosynthesizing all day.
Comments below. Comment on that.
And what happens is they're holding all this chemistry, and then when the sun goes down, they blend all the chemistry, and it reaches this balance. And it's really cool because you can taste it.
It leaks out. It leaks out into the wine.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's balanced. It's biochemically balanced. I don't know what the leaks out means, but
what's the time of the year? What months are best to harvest, especially the red grapes?
well, we generally start
March,
here,
April, May.
yeah, no, it's late
That's not
July
true.
is the earliest we've ever harvested our whites. Our reds are generally mid-August at the earliest. Late August, early September is when most of the reds are coming.
Mostly in September, I'd
Yeah,
say.
and the longer you can wait, the better. But there is a very narrow window of harvest. There is 2, maybe 3 days when the grapes are ripe. So when you have cool weather like we've had for the last couple of years, it being stretched out is really good because you can actually harvest exactly on the day. But it's not just the day, it's the hour. I'll sometimes have the crew, someone plug up
And
Bill's
it's always
ears.
at night for
It's
some
at
odd
night.
reason.
Bill's covering up his, okay.
It's
I'll
always at
sometimes have the crew wait an hour or two before we start. It's just not quite right. So it's get all the equipment ready, get everything ready. Pedro and I are out there tasting. It's like, okay, now it's ready now.
What indicates when it's ready?
You can taste it.
But what's the measurement?
The wind shifts. It goes from this and it shifts over here, and then you can hear the owls hoot in the distance, and that's when you do it.
That's not true.
No. But the
That's not
main
true.
thing is, here's actually what's interesting.
It's weather. It's the relaxed at night when it's cooler and they relax versus being heat stressed.
Yes, so they're heat stressed, but there is a
But
very
has nothing to do
specific
with owls.
But here's what's interesting. During the heat of the day, grapes taste like grapes. In the evening, they taste like wine because they've balanced. You can taste it. You can taste it. That's how you know.
That's why
It's
I always
called-
drink wine at night.
Yes.
But the sugar. The
No,
thing.
you don't. You drink wine all the time.
So,
I
Greg,
work with you, man. You can't bullshit.
What is the sugar level? Like, we want the sugar level to be a
Oh,
certain.
so we're looking at the bricks and we're looking at the
What
total
is
acids
bricks?
and the pH. Bricks is the amount of sugar.
Why do
in
we
the
want
wine.
sugar in the grapes? Like, what is that?
Because sugar is a indication of ripeness. So what we're looking for is what's called phenological maturity, which just means the grape
Comment
is ripe.
down below on that word. Comment down below on that
It's
word.
when the grapes are actually fully ripe and biochemically they're balanced. And there's a certain point where the bricks go up and the acid's going down. And what you're juggling, and the winemaker and I are talking about every morning when we go out and look at the report, is how much do you want to push that bricks versus the acid? Because as the bricks are
some
going
more?
up, the acid's going down. And it's a balance. But when you have a good year like this, the acids stay high and the bricks go up and it's mature.
So I think that this year, the alcohol on the Meritage is pretty up there. It's 14.2 point something. So
I sure can feel it.
Gus can feel it. The sugar in the
Not
grapes
bad.
must have been high because the sugar is what turns into alcohol, right?
Yes.
So it must have been a great growing season to get the alcohol to that level.
It's not affecting me at all. I can still say biochemical homeostasis. It hasn't even.
I'm drinking this wine, and I'll tell you what.
Okay. One of the comments are, yes, they are going to get rides home in Uber. Okay, y'all are at home, but we are highly skilled and trained professionals.
Yes.
So this is we do take it seriously, but seriously, what a great show. And yes, we are going to do this more. We're going to do this with every shipment that we come out. Kind of like in between the months that we don't have a shipment, we're going to do this, and so you guys
It's a lot of
can
pressure.
get. Yeah, oh yeah,
It is.
But we did do it.
We should practice 3-4 times before doing
We
it.
promised you 30 minutes. We've gone 35.
35, okay.
Okay, so told you how fast it
5
goes.
bonus minutes.
So just kind of wrap it up and tell them some.
Yeah, just my plug on all these wines. The Meritage is definitely my favorite right now. So and thank you for joining it.
My turn. These wines are awesome. They're really good, and it's been a pleasure making them and actually seeing them develop. You know, when you first put them in the bottle to where they are right now, and seeing them develop, it's kind of fun. And I learned so much from that, and then I take that knowledge and I try to apply it to what I do with winemaking. So this
And
is
it
a lot of
shows.
fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
What about you, Greg? Any parting words?
So right after this, I actually need to teach a MSJC class online. So
That's
it's
a
yet
plug.
another bottle. But here's a cool thing: we taste wines during our class when we're in session, and now that we're virtual, we're tasting wines. When we first went virtual, all the class members said, "No, from now on, all we're going to taste is Temecula wines. We want to support Temecula." So I want to really thank everyone for supporting us as a region. There's a little bit of a trend to go outside the region and get less expensive grapes or whatever. That's not what we want to do. We are Temecula. We want to make sure that we support that.
That's fine.
So thank you very much for supporting Temecula grapes, because if you didn't, there's no way the three of us could ever get a job doing anything else but this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. We miss you so much. The grounds are
We do.
empty and
We
it's
miss you
sad,
guys.
but we can't wait to have you back because we are so optimistic that we will be sharing a glass with you soon. So,
Really miss
Bill,
you
any
guys.
parting words?
Ryan, first, could you let the wine club members know how to get their wines? They're asking.
Okay, wine club members, you could pick up your wines. We have curbside pickup. We have it down to a science. It wasn't pretty at first, but we got it down now. So if you want to pick up your April shipment, you could come by. We have a whole team that will meet you at your car, and we'll get your name and literally put the wine in the trunk of your car. And we're doing a great job. So we would love to see you, your eyes, because everybody's wearing masks. But come by and pick up your wines, and you can order any wines that you want by calling Wine Club or ordering through our website, and we'll have those ready for you as well.
And if you come before 10 o'clock, Ryan will jack up your car and rotate your tires.
12 o'clock to 5 o'clock is the actual time we're open.
12 to 5. 12 to 5,
Easy.
yes.
And just to let the audience know, this will be on our website. So if you want to share this with anybody, by all means, please do so. It exceeded my expectations. I've seen some others that were really boring and dull, and good old Gus here did not make it boring at all. And
Hey,
another
Bill, there's a
question.
Yeah, you might want to open it up to questions, but they're asking about the wine academies.
Oh.
So the wine academies will be in full force again as soon as we know when we'll open. So we already have all the wine academies scheduled for the rest of this year. As soon as we know when they're going to open, they will be available. If you have any questions about the Wine Academy, please email the Wine Club department at wineclub@wilsoncreekwinery.com, and they'll give you information. I'm sure we're backlogged on some of the cancellations that we had to have, so I don't know how we're going to place all of you that have been displaced, but we do have them scheduled through the year. So if you have any questions, please email the Wine Club.
And the Wine Academy is these guys, which are absolute experts in their area, far better than I am. that interact with guests there, explaining in a lot more detail than what we heard today in their specifics. And sometimes it's over your head, and whatever you can grab, you grab.
Never.
I keep telling Greg, dumb it down for us idiots out here that want to understand what it's truly
I
about.
respect your intellect.
And these
It's
guys,
easy to go over my head.
these guys are some of the smartest guys in their respective fields, and I respect the hell out of these guys. And I'm just so proud of you guys for doing this. It's awesome. I mean, I had some fun doing it. I think you guys had some fun. I hope you had some
I
fun.
could do it for another hour. What do
And
you
if
guys
you
think?
have more questions, just keep asking the questions, and we'll kind of post them and answer them as we see it. Maybe it'll become a Wine Academy question as we further this process down the road. So with that, I bid you adieu. And by the way, during quarantine, happy hour used to be I don't drink before 5 on the weekdays.
Yeah.
Now it's 4, and on the weekends I try not to drink before 4. Now it's 3. Okay, so that's just the rules of happy hour. So that's just why it's okay at 4 o'clock.
Whatever Bill says.
It's all good. So cheers to everybody. Cheers to you
Cheers.
guys.
Cheers.
You're
Cheers.
empty.
Cheers.
You're
Cheers.
empty.
I'm out.
You're
I'm
out. You're
I'm
out.
out.
Here you go, guys. Hang on.
Thank you
This
all.
is a-
Miss you.
You cannot cheers with an empty glass, ever.
No.
So one more time. Cheers to you guys.
out.
That's a big faux pas. Social distance at the same time.
Yeah, here we
Here
are.
you go.
Oh,
Boom,
yeah.
boom.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
This way.
Cheers.